Leave it to Japan to create a cozy, relatable manga about torture. With over 190 chapters already released, no signs of stopping anytime soon, and an anime on the way, 'Tis Time for Torture Princess is clearly resonating with a ton of people. Speaking as someone who has read the entire series through at least 4 times, this series is truly something special. But what isn't obvious at first glance is just how many things about this manga are backwards from what you'd expect. You know the entire plot of 80% of the chapters after reading the very first one, including the ending of each chapter. While individual chapters have a plot, the entire series really doesn't. The story is set up in chapter 1 and is then promptly ignored. 'Tis Time for Torture Princess is clearly doing something magical to be so successful with so many oddities. And what it does right is so incredible and human that it makes this series worth your time. You will relate to this series, no matter where you live, how old you are, or what is going on in your life. The core message is one that we all need to remember, especially in this day and age. 'Tis Time for Torture Princess follows the story of a captured princess who doesn't even have a name. Really, it's been over 190 chapters and she still doesn't have a name. Everybody just keeps calling her Princess. In addition to being the princess, Princess is also the commander of the 3rd Legion, leading troops in their fight against the Hell Horde. But she has been captured, along with her sentient sword Excalibur, who goes by the nickname X. Let me get this straight. The princess has no name, but the sword gets a name and a nickname? Really? Really? The main character doesn't get a name, but her stupid sword does? That just doesn't seem like a good character design choice, but whatever. What do I know? It's clearly working. With the princess being royalty and a military commander, she is bound to have incredible secrets that could help the Hell Lord and his Hell Horde finally win the war and defeat humanity. In the series anime teaser trailer, you see the princess trapped in a dark prison cell. An Iron Maiden is being brought out by 2 demons. 'Tis time for torture, princess. Tortura, the main torturer throughout the series, and yes, that is her name, slowly opens the Iron Maiden. And inside is a piece of toast. The princess must now make a choice. Stay strong, watch Tortura eat the toast, or give up a valuable secret and enjoy the toast herself. As the succulent, sexy piece of toast is jazzed up, ultimately dipped into the drippings of a delicious beef stew, the princess caves, shares a secret, and enjoys the toast. This is the plot for about 80% of the chapters in the series. A series of torturers, all of whom are wonderful, kind characters, will offer the princess something she wants. Tortura offers food, Yoki and Inki tempt the princess with fun activities, Crawl charms the princess with cute animals, Vanilla and Mau Mau offer cuteness and protect me vibes on such a high level that your heart will literally melt out of your body. I mean, my god, the protect me vibes are holy cow levels. During all of the torture, X, the talking sword, will do his best to encourage the princess not to share a secret, and pretty much every time, the princess will give in, share a secret, and indulge in the food. Each secret is then reported to the terrifying Hell Lord, who is carefully monitoring the torture's progress. Now, the secrets that are given by the princess can be game changers. In one chapter, the princess gives up the location of a sacred relic that could destroy all the Empire's magical defenses in exchange for a cup of black tea. Upon hearing the report of this powerful relic, the Hell Lord immediately rejects retrieving it because it would require digging up a grave. And you can't just defile graves like that, even for a relic. It would be just a horrible thing to do. Have some respect, some decency, my god, people. This is the plot. The princess gets tempted by a simple pleasure, she gives in, the Hell Lord doesn't do anything impactful with the secret, rinse and repeat. It doesn't matter that nothing happens with the secrets, since the war between humanity and the Hell Horde is never fleshed out beyond the first chapter. Whereas so many series use this type of war as the foundation for the plot, 'Tis Time for Torture Princess uses this purely for the setting. Compare the war to a high school anime. When you watch an anime where the characters go to high school, you expect there to be classes, teachers, crushes, seating assignments, maybe a student council. There will be a summer break and some school trips. Just from the high school setting alone, you get a bunch of expectations about what the story will include. When you read a manga about a war where humanity and demons clash, you expect magic and swords, royalty, battles. 'Tis Time for Torture Princess uses the setting, but then builds a plot entirely separate from those really basic elements, allowing the series to skip past a bunch of exposition, but also not get stuck with a boring plot. However, 'Tis Time for Torture Princess isn't perfect. There is a story that the series feels like it took some inspiration from that was a huge mistake. Now this next bit is just a little bit of speculation, but I'm pretty confident about this one. See, 'Tis Time for Torture Princess is in many ways a food manga, and all food mangas have a source that they draw inspiration from, for better or sometimes for very worse. Is that grammatically correct? I don't care. Shokugeki no Soma ran from 2012 to 2019 in Shonen Jump and was an extraordinary success. There are 36 volumes of the manga with 20 million volumes sold, 5 anime seasons, video games, light novels, and spin-off series. The author even did a short crossover series featuring Sanji from One Piece. That's right, it was successful enough to get a One Piece crossover. I mean, my god, that's about as good as it gets. Whether you like Shokugeki no Soma or not, it is an undeniable fact that this manga was a mega hit. Shokugeki no Soma found success by combining great characters with delectable food with a major payoff for eating each dish. Upon eating a dish, stunning men and women would be shown with minimal to no clothing in a reaction shot. This literally excited readers, but it also made it really easy to understand the impact of each dish. Instead of a villain being cut down and blood splattering everywhere, you'd see a chiseled man's abs and the bare curves of a woman. A reward for the eyes, while the characters got a reward for their taste buds. It was a brilliant idea. While I appreciate that 'Tis Time for Torture Princess didn't go heavy on the copy-paste human vs. demon war plot, I absolutely detest the fact that early on, the series leaned into ecchi content during the first 30 chapters. This ecchi idea even seeped into the character designs. Let's look at the character design of Yoki, an outgoing torturer who enjoys games. She has barely any clothing on. Yes, it does allow her to stand out dramatically from her quieter, heavily clothed sister Inki, but it's not necessary. A simple t-shirt with a bold graphic on it would have been different enough from Inki's oversized coat to stand out. But instead, the series went with the ecchi move. Same with Crawl, who manages somehow to be even worse. She is supposed to be a powerful warrior and a beastmaster, and yet she wears the most exposed outfit in the series. A nearly R-rated leopard bikini, short shorts that are unbuttoned, and high boots that simply come together as an outfit more appropriate for a fraternity party. What's really bizarre is that even though both character outfits are ridiculous, the actual characters are great. Yoki is outgoing and is even willing to attempt cheating to beat the princess in a variety of challenges. Crawl genuinely cares about her animals that she works with, even more than successfully torturing the princess. These characters are great, and they really deserve some actual outfits. Now, there are some ecchi chapters early on in the series. A particularly terrible chapter is chapter 20, where an ugly knight tries to rescue the princess using magic that would teleport them away. The magic also slowly removes the princess's clothing, resulting in the princess attacking the knight and choosing to stay with the demons before all of her clothing disappears. The ecchi portions of the series are phased out by chapter 30. The pivot is very welcome, and it's easy to do. The ecchi was never core to the plot. To summarize where we're at, there is no real overarching plot. You already know how 80% of all the chapters will go since I just explained it to you, and the series blunders an absolutely awful ecchi start, of which some remnants can be seen in the current character designs. So how the hell did we get over 190 chapters and an anime out of this series? Clearly the series is doing something very right, something brilliant, something that made the author of Vinland Saga, Makoto Yukimura, tweet out a recommendation for the series back in 2020. So what's the magic? 'Tis Time for Torture Princess speaks to the souls of so many hard-working, exhausted people. It's a manga about the simple pleasures of life that exist daily, even if it's only for a moment while eating some very delicious food. As a character, the princess does an incredible job of being a stand-in for people of all ages. Despite being so young, she has a lot of responsibilities. She leads troops and represents a nation. Her day-to-day life has been entirely consumed with these jobs, resulting in her not having a fun-filled childhood. She can see the pleasures of life from afar, but due to her responsibilities, she isn't allowed to enjoy them. Each torture is typically a simple, relatable pleasure. Chapter 1's torture is eating a piece of toast. Chapter 2 is eating takoyaki, a common Japanese snack that even the sentient magic sword, who gets a name and a nickname unlike his owner, calls out as low class. But the princess, who was stuck in the castle, never got to try this low-class snack. She always sees everyone's happy faces eating it, but she never gets to eat it herself. It leaves her sad and always craving the experience. Chapter 3's torture is playing video games with friends. Chapter 4 is eating a cup of noodles. These are all foods that are typically very easy to get, especially if you're in Japan. As an American, it's easy to see what our equivalent foods would be. Instead of takoyaki, it would be a burger. Instead of a cup of noodles, it would be a bag of chips. When the princess enjoys these simple pleasures, it reminds us to do the same. Whether you are studying in school or have already graduated and are now in the real world, life continues to give you an endless stream of responsibilities. As you struggle with your daily burdens, it's easy to forget to enjoy the journey. You become fixated on next weekend, the next opportunity to put down your work, or even retirement itself, dreaming of the day you're 70 years old and are finally done working and studying. But to live life purely for the future is a real shame. Each day has lots of opportunities for small joys, and appreciating them is so important to leading a meaningful life. 'Tis Time for Torture Princess serves as this beautiful reminder to appreciate the simple moments. Pretty much every chapter's plot centers around this idea, even the unusual chapters that don't involve torturing the princess. In chapter 38, you follow Tortura on a business trip. You see her enjoy some convenience store food for dinner and thoroughly and thoughtfully appreciate each and every bite. She even shows off one of her favorite food hacks. All the foods are cheap and ones you've had before. A hot dog, a ham and cheese wrap, a cup of noodles. You then get to see her the following morning enjoying an all-you-can-eat hotel breakfast. You see her trying to eat healthily after last night's unhealthy meal, only to be broken down by some freshly baked rolls. It's relatable, it's simple, it's just so great. Okay, maybe the idea that a hotel is serving freshly baked rolls is unrelatable, but with that said, for the most part, this whole incident is very, very, very relatable. Another great example of appreciating the small moments is chapter 41, where the Hell Lord and his wife help their child Mau Mau with baking cookies. Step by step, the cookies slowly come together with everybody chipping in. At the end, everyone gets to enjoy a ton of cookies. Another simple pleasure. I find the choice of chapters featuring Tortura and the Hell Lord particularly interesting. These are older characters in the cast. Going on a business trip is not something a school student can directly relate to. However, the author has continued to write chapters focusing on these characters. Chapter 193, which came out just a few weeks ago, focused on the Hell Lord trying to make small talk with a parent at the park. You watch him thinking through the conversation, trying to make sure it all goes well while realizing he doesn't have much to talk about besides work and anime. Now, I'm not a parent, but I get this. The older you get, the less you have to talk about. If you want to know why everybody talks about work all the time, it's because it's basically the only thing that people do. Work, Netflix, and then some kind of easy to make meal. That is the real world. If you're not there yet, look forward to it. Despite the series' cute appearance, 'Tis Time for Torture Princess is reminding people of all ages to enjoy life. And to top that off, it also offers one more amazing thing. Each week, a new chapter full of wholesomeness arrives, and it's always so happy and wonderful. Reading the chapter is a moment worth savoring and enjoying every single week. The manga reminds you to enjoy these small moments and then provides you with a guaranteed small moment that is worth savoring. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy and it's incredible. The entire series can be read on the Manga Plus app for free as many times as you want. Go check it out, especially if you're having a bad day or feel stressed in life. It's well worth your time, and remember, you only have a limited amount of time, so you might as well enjoy as much of it as you can.